Hello, this is Melissa from the Stamping Ninja. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Sun Lakes, Arizona, and I want to welcome you to day 4 of the Christmas in July craft along with Jen Roque and myself. So thank you for joining us. Before I get to that day 4 card, you'll have to excuse me. Anybody else eating Skittles besides me? After watching that card with Jen yesterday, I just can't stop eating them. Anyway, before I get to the card, I just want to go over these things that we've been doing in the front of each video as a reminder that Jen and I both have a Happy Mail shopping special going on, and for any $50 order that you place from Stampin' Up! Before tax and shipping, we will send you some Happy Mail, and that Happy Mail includes 4 handmade cards, 24 sheets of retired DSP that's cut down to 6x6 size, and a new unopened pack of retired embellishments. Not sure what they're going to be yet, but we have a huge stash of them, so it'll be something fantastic, I'm sure. If you purchase $100, then the handmade cards will double to 8, and the 6x6 DSP will also double to 48. If you spend $150, it goes to 12 and 72 sheets, and so on and so on. So it's a really good deal. We're also sharing the tutorial from the Papercraft Collective, which is something that we are a part of, her and I and 5 other demonstrator friends of ours. So we're going to send you the tutorial that has 7 projects that are made with the Sweet Jar and the Jar of Joy. This is my fun little card right here with the Jar of Joy. One other thing that we have going on that we're really excited about is the Christmas Craft Retreat. We just finished a summer retreat and had a lot of fun with that one. And so Jen and I are partnering up again, just her and I, to do a Christmas one. She's doing it in person, so her registrations have already opened. Mine is just going to be a craft retreat in a box, so I will be sending those out. My registration is not open yet. That will not be until probably the first week in August. We get to see the products that are coming out in the new mini catalog on July 30th, so we'll have a better idea of what we're making. I can tell you that we are going to have some add-ons to this craft retreat, and I'm super excited about them. One of them is going to be a sampler class. I don't know if you know what a sampler class is, but it is a 12 by 12 frame. And within that frame is a bunch of little projects that you make. So it's a nice little decor piece, and it shows off a little sampling of many different sets and papers. And so I'm excited to do one of those. We're also going to have a Christmas treat box class, so that will be an add-on. And one last thing that I'm super excited about is we're going to be offering a swap. So a swap is where you make a bunch of cards. It can be all the same. You send it in, you get a card in return. So we're going to have several people participate in this swap. And so it's a way for you to get other cards that are made with the same products. They're just going to be a different design, and so you can use that design to make one just like it. You can use the card to keep in your stash, send it away, whatever you want to do. But it's a lot of fun, and you get a lot of great ideas from it. So very excited about that. So now on to our card number 4. This card, grab it right here. This one right here is made with the Jolly Holly stamp bundle again. I know we just used that one, but we're going to be using that one again, and we are going to be playing with this embossing, this hybrid embossing folder to make this fun design right here. So I'm super excited to show you how to do that. It's a little more labor intensive, but the result is pretty cool looking, if you ask me. So if you got the kit, you should have everything already cut for you, with the exception of your DSP and the silver. But for those that didn't, there are measurements up here on the front of what you'll need. And if you are interested in purchasing the tutorials, those are available in Jen and I's tutorial shop on our individual blog posts, our individual blogs. So you'll find them there, but there are links down below this video as well. So what we are going to do for this card, the first thing we're going to do is you're going to take your Granny Apple Green piece. This one measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You're going to fold that and burnish it with your bone folder. Give it a nice crisp line there and make it flat. And then we're going to set this aside because we don't need it just yet. We are going to move on to our other pieces here. We're going to be using these two pieces right here. This fun DSP, this is 4 by 5 1/4, and this Granny Apple Green is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So I want you to grab your hybrid embossing folder. It's this guy right here, and it has the Stampin' Up! Logo on the front. All their folders have this. So what you're going to do is you're going to open this folder so that that Stampin' Up! Logo is on the left-hand side. So you can see it over here. We're going to be working on this left-hand side here. I want you to take your garden green ink pad, and we're going to ink up this folder. Going to get a little messy, but it's going to be a pretty cool result. It helps these hollies stand out so that you can see them a little bit better. So I'm just going to take my ink pad and just barely set it on there. Just barely tap it. I don't want it to be super hard because you're going to get green on the lower piece, and you don't want a lot of that because then your piece won't turn out very well. So don't press hard on your ink pad at all. Just want to press, just barely tap it. See all this dark up here? Yeah, I don't want that, so don't do that. All right, now that you got ink on there, what you're going to do is you're going to take that very large die that comes with your dies, and you're going to place it upside down so the little cut part is facing up, and we're going to lay it on top here. Now before you lay it down, you want to make sure you have it the right way, it's not turned the wrong way, but you will see this one right here that kind of opens, looks kind of like a little W, will go with this big holly up here in the top left corner. So you want to carefully place it on there without touching your ink, and then like move it around a little bit until it gets into that groove to where you can't really move it. It's kind of stuck there. Next, you're going to take your garden green piece, you're going to lay it on top, and you want it, let's see, we're going to put it over here all the way to the fold line. Just like that. So you want it up against your fold line. If you move it over on this other side, then these little pieces will get completely cut and then they'll fall out. So I found that if you put it right there, all the pieces will stay on your piece and not be totally cut out. So then you're gonna take the right hand side, you're just gonna close it up just like that. And then you're gonna run it through your cut and emboss machine. So you're going to take your platform, you should have your platform on your machine, so it's just the piece number 1, and you're going to lay this one on here, and then you're going to lay your big gray piece right on top, and that is your sandwich to run this through. So it's just like any other hybrid embossing folder, nothing different, even though the dies are in there. So I'm going to run this through my machine real quick, and you do the same. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have run this through my machine here. Put that back. I figured nobody wants to watch me run that through my machine because it'll just jiggle the camera and everything else. So you're going to open that right side back up, and your piece right there on the right is all cut and got some ink on it to make it stand out, and it's just beautiful. Absolutely love it. So it's a little messy, But when you clean it, you gotta make sure that you clean the back of your die too, because it's got ink on it. And I'll tell you the best way to do it is I just take this to the sink and just run it under the water. The ink will just fall right off and then set it on a paper towel to dry. That's how I clean it up. It's the easiest without getting ink all over the place. So I will do that when I'm done with this card. All right, so we have our piece all cut out here. I got mine a little bit close to the edge. That's all right. And you'll notice that some of these pieces are cut out, and actually I think most of them are, all of them are, all the little leaves. But what we're gonna do is we are gonna take some mini dimensionals and put on the back of these, so that way when it lays flat, these little leaves will pop up a little bit. And you can see it on my card a little bit better. You can probably see that there's a, I don't know if you can see it, there's a dimensional like under this leaf right here, so you can't press it flat, it pops up and gives it some dimension. Now, in doing that, I did get a little ink on my fingers. There's gonna be a sentiment that goes over here. So I know that I don't want a dimensional under any of these pieces right here, because then my sentiment's not gonna sit right. So I'm just gonna fold this down like that. And I know it's the same shape, so my sentiment's gonna go right here. And I'm gonna put dimensionals on all these other ones that are on the outside. So I'm using the minis because they work perfectly for this. And I'm just gonna put them, hopefully you can see that. There's a leaf right here. So I'm just putting it on the outer portion of that leaf. So not in the middle of it, just the outer portion. I'm just gonna randomly put these on the outer portion of these leaves, and not all of them. I'm not gonna do the ones in the center either, because I'm gonna run ribbon down the center and the dimensionals will get in the way. So I'll put one there. I'm just putting my dimensionals basically around the outer perimeter. So I'll put one there. Oh, we got two of them. And let's see, which one do I want to do? This one's a little dangerous because it's on the edges. I'm not going to put any on those edges. And do I want to do that one? Sure. Let's do this one. I'm talking to myself. I don't know if you do that, but I tend to do that a lot. I will put one on that one. All right. So that's where I'm putting my dimensionals. Get those out of the way. I'm going to peel the back off of these dimensionals. And then I'm going to put some multi-purpose liquid glue on this piece. Because those dimensionals are not going to be enough to hold this piece onto the card. That one kind of moved a little bit on me. There we go. Now we're back in business. Okay, so I'm going to grab my multi-purpose liquid glue. It's the easiest for me to work with for this anyway, so I'm going to put it around the edges here. And I'm not going to put it on the cuts because my glue will leak through if I do that. So I'm trying to be careful on where I'm putting it. But I want the piece to lay flat in the areas. Actually, take that back. I don't want it on that middle one. Let's get rid of that. There is a leaf right here in the middle. I didn't want glue on that one because the ribbon's probably going to go under there. So let's not put glue down the middle. That would be bad. Basically around the edges. All right, so we're going to put this piece on our DSP. And what I'm going to do is I am going to start on one end and line it up so that I know there's equal spacing around all three sides. Not like that. Did I cut this wrong? All right, let's try that again. There we go. That's much better. So it's equal all the way around. And now I can press it into place. So as I'm pressing it, you can see that some of these leaves are sticking up, and that's what we want. There we go. So the ones that we put dimensionals behind are popped up, and it gives some dimension to our piece. All right, now we're going to take some ribbon. This is the silver and white sheer ribbon. It's no longer available. It's on the last, it might still be on the last chance list, I'm not sure, but it is retired. So we're going to take a 7-inch piece of this ribbon, and we're going to wrap it around the middle of this. Let me cut a 7-inch piece here. Get that out of the way. We're going to wrap it around the middle like so. And if there is a piece, some of them this is why we didn't want to put glue in the middle. Some of them do lift up, so you can tuck your ribbon underneath and it kind of holds it in place, which is kind of neat. It's a little placeholder. If it doesn't fit under any of them, that's okay too. Just showing you a little option there if it does fit. Which this one doesn't fit too well. I don't think I'm going to put that under there. I'm just going to use those two. So I'm going to flip this over. And then I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal to adhere my ribbon to. Well, maybe. There we go. To adhere it to the back of this piece. I like using Stampin' Seal for my ribbon. I just think it works better. Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus. But it's much better than multi-purpose liquid glue, because if I did this with multi-purpose liquid glue, I'd have a wet finger. The glue would just seep right through there. So now our ribbon is right down the center, which is perfect. So now you're going to grab that card base again, and we're going to adhere this piece to the card. So back to my multi-purpose liquid glue. I can't even say it. Multi-purpose liquid glue. There we go. And I like using this for the bigger pieces. Actually, I like using this for pretty much everything except ribbon, because it lets me slide it around a little bit to get it where I want it before it's stuck in place. So it gives you lots of leeway there. There we go. That's so pretty. Don't even have that on there yet. And I just love this card. Okay, hopefully you can see the dimension in the camera. If not, you can kind of get a feel for it. Pretty fun. Oh, look, there's another little back. These things are everywhere in my house. Okay, moving on. Next, we are going to stamp these little holly leaves right here. So you're going to need that tiny little piece of basic white and your Memento black ink. And we're going to ink these up real good. So you need 2 of them. Stamp one there, one there. So just 2. Get that out of the way. And next we are going to color them. So to color them, I'm going to be using Granny Apple Green. Actually, did I use the dark and light? I probably did. All right. Granny Apple Green, the dark and the light, and your Real Red dark. Grab my other green. There we go. Make sure that's the right one. Yep. All right, I'm going to color with my green first. So I'm going to take the dark I'm going to use this sharp pointy end here, and I'm just going to go around the edges of my holly. As I'm doing this, I have my point facing the way that up against the line, and I don't want to cross the line. I'm just going right up to it because the ink spreads out a little bit. So right up to it like that. And if you have to turn your piece to make sure that your point is facing that way, then that's what you do. I do that a lot of times. Turn it to make sure that it's easier for me to see. There we go. So I only did the outline with this one. Next, I'm going to grab my Granny Apple Green Light, and I'm going to blend this color. So I'm just going to color over that harsh line that we just put on there. Just kind of scribbling on it a little bit so that you don't see the harshness of it. And then color the middle. So a little scribbling. It's good for the soul. There you go. So that's one. Now I'm going to grab my dark Real Red and then color the little berries. Like that. And since I got the Real Red open, I'm going to go ahead and do the ones over here. Like so. We're done with Real Red. And then I'm going back to my dark Granny Apple Green again. And I'm going to outline this holly like I did the first one. So just a simple little line there. And then I'm turning it. Again, I get a little quiet when I'm doing this, because if I'm not concentrating, there's a good chance I'm going to mess it up. There we go. And hopefully you can see that. Just a line all the way around the edges. I'm taking my light color again, and then I'm going to scribble over that harsh edge. And color the center. And then the same thing for this one. And that is our holly. So pretty. All right, so now we have to cut these beauties out and grab our little dies here. So I'm going to cut both hollies out. Then you're going to take a scrap piece of the silver foil, and you're going to cut the word joy out. So you'll need a joy. And then you're going to take your scrap piece of Granny Apple Green and cut out one of these small rectangles. And then your scrap piece of Real Red. Make sure you can see all this. And we're going to cut out this big rectangle. So all that fun stuff right there. And I'm going to go run mine through my machine while you do yours. And once again, I will meet you back here to put this card together. Okay, so we got all of our fun pieces cut out here. Make sure I put these back so I don't lose them. And there's that one. All right, so next we are going to stamp our sentiment, and we're just using the word Christmas. So you're going to need your garden green ink for that. So go ahead and ink up your sentiment, and when you stamp this, you're going to stamp it towards the top and to the left. So not in the center, but just like that. That way we have room for joy. So, all right, now that that's stamped, we're gonna adhere it to this red piece. Just like so. And then we're going to adhere the word joy right down here below it. And so the bottom of the J and the bottom of the Y kind of hang off a little bit, so you don't want to put glue down there. That's one of the reasons I didn't use an adhesive sheet, because I would have had adhesive below it. Well, I guess I could have put it on. Oops, look at that. I just put glue on there. Let's get rid of that glue. See what happens when I talk? They don't concentrate very well. All right. So the joy, make sure I put it on there straight. Oops. Go like that. And then we're going to adhere this piece to the card. So I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals for that. Got my minis there too. So put some fat ones on here. Like so. Peel off all these backs. And then this is going to go all the way to the edge of the green, right in the center. So I like to put down my edge first. Make sure it's straight, which sometimes I can't tell with the angle where the camera is. So I've got to pick this up and look. And that looks pretty straight to me. And then press it into place once you make sure that it's straight. Then we're going to put these little hollies on. I'm going to use the minis for that again. So one little dimensional on each leaf works great. Those little guys off. All right, so this one will go over here on the side. And then this one is gonna go over here, like so. And then we're gonna put some peppermints on there. So I'm gonna grab my take your pick tool again. Put those little guys on there. So I'm going to put a big one right down there. And then a medium. So grab my medium down here, put it up there. And then to complete my triangle, I'll put a little tiny one right there. So I got my 3 peppermints on there. Now we got to finish the inside. So if you open this up, it says, wishing you and yours all the best. So you'll need that 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white that was in there. And you're gonna need your garden green and your Memento black ink. So we'll start with the garden green. Garden green is for your sentiment. Get my stamps out here. The wishing you and yours all the best. Make sure I have it the right way. It'd be bad to put it upside down. So that's going to go in the center, towards the top, Wishing you and yours all the best. I don't think I said that the first time. All right, now you're gonna grab your Memento black ink and we're gonna stamp one of these flowers on each side. I was calling a poinsettia because that's kind of what it looks like to me, but it doesn't make sense because this is a holly card, so I'm not sure. Still looks like a poinsettia to me, but anyhow, you're gonna stamp one of these on each side of your sentiment. And like so. Oh, look at that, one's off a little bit. I turned it and I think it kind of screwed me up, but that's all right. We'll leave it like that. Now we're gonna color it. So you're gonna need your Granny Apple Green and your Real Red blends again, except this time I'm not gonna use the light color. I'm just gonna use the dark. And I'm gonna use that pointy end again. So I'm just gonna color the leaves. And this will be super fast. Well, it should be anyway, because there's no blending. It's just 5 easy leaves. And you don't have to worry about coloring over all these lines. And this one right here. I think I went out of the lines just a little bit there. I think my Granny Apple Green is drying up. It's not acting like normal. Could be the fan I have in the background, not sure. Doing Christmas in July, but it's pretty toasty. I think it's 110 today, which is not uncommon for our area, but a little warm for Christmas. All right, and I'm taking my dark Real Red and I'm just coloring a circle right here in the middle, just over all those little dots, like that. I'll close this one up, and then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this, and we're going to put it on the inside of this card. So put it in there so that it's even everywhere. Just like that. Ta-da! Day 4 of Christmas in July. Hope you enjoyed this card. Be sure to look for your emails for tomorrow's Craft Along with Jen for day 5. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.